Alright, so in front of me is the Motorola G82, one of Motorola's newest smartphones priced just under £300 or $370. It has just launched in the UK and other parts of Europe, and it seems really competitively priced. The phone is cuddled in your typical Motorola looking box. On the back of the box it briefly goes over the key specs like 120Hz OLED display, optical image stabilization, stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, and so on and so forth. Here is me cutting into the cheap plastic seal, and boom! You've got your average presentation style with the phone being the first thing you see. Obviously, in typical unboxing fashion, we put it to the side, and inside this mini box is a bunch of leaflets. So you've got things like quick start guide, legal and technical boring stuff, as well as a handy SIM ejector tool. If we search beyond that, we find the 33-watt fast charger. The port type on the charger is of course USB-A. And the last thing in the box you see is a USB-A to USB-C cable. The cable itself seems of good quality and the length is just average like any other charging cable. Now, I was relatively surprised to find a pretty mid-high quality case included with the phone. Obviously it's a clear case so you can see the color of the phone. And with the phone case there is texture on the back, so when you're running your finger up and down you can hear that annoying noise. Now, this phone is not what it looks like on Motorola's website. It looks so much more prestigious and mesmerizing in real life. The texture feels like frosted, but the back looks more on the glossy side, and if you look really carefully you'll see tiny little dots surrounding the Motorola logo on the back. Yes, this phone looks like any other Motorola phone out on the market right now, like the Motorola Edge 30, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. The fingerprint sensor coexists with the power button, though do keep in mind that the power button isn't flush with the surface. It's just ever so slightly raised, but I can't complain because it's reliable. It's not extremely fast like you'll see on expensive phones, but it's not slow either. It's really respectable. By the way, this is the first Android 12 smartphone I've ever used other than Samsung One UI phones. And honestly speaking, the whole user interface looks a million times better and more refined than the previous Android 11. The main camera is 50 megapixel with optical image stabilization, and especially for its price I do applaud Motorola for including this crucial function. There's a 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera and then a 2 megapixel macro camera, which I think many people will find pretty pointless. And you can record in 1080p 30fps or 60fps. There is no 4K resolution here. And before I forget, the selfie camera is 16 megapixel with just the option to record 30fps. As mentioned before, this phone comes shipped with Android 12 with a couple of Motorola features here and there which I will mention in my full review. The display is 6.6 inch Full HD 120Hz OLED with an aspect ratio of 20:9. I have no complaints about this display. It's a super nice display, it's really nice to look at, and the chipset is the Snapdragon 695 with the Adreno 619 GPU. It's got 128GB of storage paired with 6GB of RAM. The battery you'll find on the G82 is a humongous beefy 5000 mAh battery, so you can mindlessly scroll on TikTok for hours and hours. By the way, the back and the frame of the phone is plastic, not metal or glass or anything like that. And I've got to say, I really do admire the thickness, or should I say the thinness of the phone. I'm really used to having thick flagship phones, so coming across this G82 is much thinner than your average let's say expensive flagship. It's a nice change. Oh yeah, it also has a headphone jack if you're keen on listening to audio with your cheap $1 earphones. And yeah, I think I've covered everything that's needed to be said. I may put out a review video regarding this phone if this video performs well. I'd highly advise you subscribing along with the all notification bell, so if I do upload a review video, you'll get a notification. And yes, if you did enjoy this video, then of course consider liking this video. And that's all for now.